Good morning. Good morning. What an honor to have everyone here at Flinchbaugh's Orchard and Farm Market. Secretary Redding, Department of Community and Economic Development, the Pennsylvania Farm Show, FFA, 4-H. It's just an honor to host this event and to be able to be a part of this big announcement for Pennsylvania. So we thank you to everyone for coming. We thank you for everyone listening in and getting ready for the excitement of the season at the farm show. I am Julie. I am one of 3 children in the Flinchbaugh family. My parents, Richie and Sonia, and my 2 brothers all make up the current business here at Flinchbaugh's Orchard and Farm. My dad and brothers are out in the field today, so they couldn't be with us. They're doing the hard work. I get to do the fun stuff, right? And my mom is doing the hard job, which she thinks is the easiest job, of tackling my 2-year-old son. So babysitting is also a part of the family business here. In 1950, my great-grandparents, Jacob and Minnie, bought this farm here. 57 acres in York County. And I often think, as I walk around and I see school buses pulling in and I see people walking into our orchard or getting their wedding photos in our fields, what would my great-grandpa have to say? He started with some cows, some tomatoes, and he put the first fruit trees in the ground. And I think, I'm not sure what he would have to say, but I know my grandma, Mimi, she would have been excited. My grandpa would have been taking care of the fields. My grandma would have been front and center with the people. And I think it's exciting how we have evolved over the years. What they started with and what my grandparents started and what my parents started has evolved and continues to evolve. From the tricycle tractor here to the auto-steer tracked combine that my dad's driving in the cornfield today, it's changed. From picking apples on ladders to this large self-propelled platform picker that my harvesters will stand on, not having to climb up and down ladders. Safety, labor efficiencies, we've changed, we've grown, we've improved. It's amazing how the changes have happened in short times and in long periods of times. We've learned, we've tested, and we've implemented. Each generation we've added to our knowledge, but one of the things that has been core to us is the value that we have held close through all of these generations, and that's the importance of conservation, including our natural and our human resources. In the early 80s, my dad, before it was cool, started to plant no-till crops. He was one of the first in the state, let alone the country. That conservation mindedness has led us to plant multi-species cover crops today so that our soils, our waterways, our nutrients, our plants are protected year-round. But what I love the most is that we have not stopped growing in these 72 years. There's a field that just lays past us here. Last fall, we took out about 6 acres of peach orchards. It was kind of sad because as a little girl, I remember planting them. So to see something come out like that in my lifetime that we've worked hard from and gained from in that time was sad. But what's amazing is that it has laid rest for a year, and that rest is leading into the next planting of orchards. And that next planting will last us 20 to 25 years in the future. We'll harvest off of it. So maybe we're not just planting for today. We're not just planting for tomorrow, but we're planting for many, many years to come. And I love to see the growth that our farm is having as a part of agriculture here in Pennsylvania. Thank you guys so much for coming again, and welcome to the orchard and to the farm. And it is my honor to introduce Secretary Redding now.
Great. Julie, thank you. Hey, Julie, thank you. I always feel like we should just stop and take questions, right? It's not going to get any better than that story, right? The story of progress, the story of the Flinchbaugh family, the generational story you can tell standing here. It does sort of feel like a mini farm show, to be honest, right? You've got school buses showing up, you've got produce stacked around us, and stories being told, and generations that are here. But a special note of thanks to Julie and the Flinchbaugh family and team for hitting pause at a very challenging time. It is harvest season here at Flinchbaugh's and around Pennsylvania. So anytime that we ask a farm family to sort of just stop for a moment and host the department for an event, we understand exactly what we're doing, but always grateful. So thank you very much for doing this. But most importantly, being in agriculture. That's the reason we celebrate and have a farm show for 107 years. Right? It gives us a reason to come together and celebrate the bounty of this state, the progress that we have made across time, the people who commit their lives to this work. It is not easy. Right? It is not easy. But you come here and you're inspired because you see that there are folks who have taken all of those challenges of time, generational transfers, the expectations that we have as a society, and overlay that on a farm operation that's got to respond. Right? It's got to respond to both the needs of this family and respond to those of us who have an expectation of great food and safe food and a wonderful environment. All of that is captured here today. We are just about 100 days from the Pennsylvania Farm Show. Right? Smile. 100 days, I begin to feel a little bit in this change of season. Right, the coolness in the air. This may be considered a warm day during Farm Show, but nonetheless, the change of seasons here. So, in our planning for the 2023 Pennsylvania Farm Show, as Sharon will tell you in a moment, we're never quite done planning. Right, it begins years out. It takes on new meaning the year that you're hosting a farm show. Just because you've got ideas, you've got thoughts, there are things you want to do with the farm show. So we spend a lot of time thinking about what the farm show theme should be, put a lot of thought into how to realize that, how do we pull in the suggestions that come to us. Some of those are solicited, others are non-solicited, and when you host 500,000 people, you get a lot of feedback, right, about what we can do. But the Department of Agriculture team and the Farm Show team do an extraordinary job of hosting the Farm Show in a beautiful Farm Show complex and Expo Center. So we are very proud of the team. We're very proud of the complex. And it's a place where you can use all 5 senses, right? That is part of what we do by design. We want to make sure that all of those senses are used during the farm show. So thank you to the team, and particularly to Sharon Myers, our executive director of the Farm Show Complex and Expo Center, Heidi Stefanovic, who's our assistant director. Thank you as well. I don't see Bill Piper here today with the foundation, but just a note and a shout out to Bill Piper, who is president of the Farm Show Foundation. We could not do what we do without the foundation. They have been amazing in their reach and work and commitment to Pennsylvania agriculture and the farm show as well. So we try to have a theme that frames our work. It captures the spirit of the times. That becomes a place for us to sort of design our work and set in motion sort of all the ideas and the vision that we have for the complex. This year we're recognizing the deep roots of Pennsylvania agriculture and celebrating the industry's natural drive and vision to innovate and inspire. And we've heard that in Julie's comments already. But our roots, they ground us, roots unite us, and roots bring promise for tomorrow. In agriculture, as within our own lives, roots they have everlasting impacts. Roots are essential to life itself. They are both a beginning and a life-sustaining source of nourishment and growth. And the fruits that they bear influence the lives of people both here in Pennsylvania and around the world. So with that introduction, I'm pleased to announce that the 2023 Pennsylvania Farm Show theme is Rooted in Progress. Rooted in Progress was chosen to honor the deep roots of agriculture in Pennsylvania's heritage, as well as the significant updates and the pivots that farmers and the families, as we've heard this morning, have made and continue to make to grow and to adapt as markets and consumers, the environment, and the resources change. As we look across the Flinchbaugh's operation here, the farm and the market and the orchards, we're reminded of where these roots are and the progress that's been made. We see it in the crop fields and the orchards around us. We see it in the growth of the family business that's impacting this community. We see it in the outreach and the education of the Flinchbaughs. We see it in the conservation work on the fields here in York County. And by the way, it is part of the reason that they are a national finalist for the Leopold Award, which will be awarded during the Pennsylvania Farm Show. One of our national finalists. So not an insignificant feat when you think about the millions of farms across the nation. But we also see it in the workers here. We see it in the family, we see it in the folks in the market. But this is what we see on all farms across the state, and the gardens and the agribusinesses that are across this Commonwealth. They have all spread their roots just like the Flinchbaughs have, out of both necessity and innovation, right? And vision. Some date back 10 generations, and we have others that are new ventures. But all of those are progress. Over the last 8 years, growing from the seeds and the roots planted by so many who have come before us, we have planted our own roots and progress, making historic investments in conservation while producing and growing, and being good stewards of the land and natural resources. Working with the governor and the General Assembly, and yes, it's good to see Representative Gillespie. Thank you for being here. It's good to be in your district. But we came together, in a bipartisan way with House and Senate, the governor, to do something historic for Pennsylvania. And that's our Pennsylvania Farm Bill. That, as of today, 2,200 and growing number of grants and investments we've made across the state of Pennsylvania, from schools to conservation to food banks. All of that is a result of what the Pennsylvania Farm Bill has allowed us to do. We have preserved 600,000 acres and 6,000 farms in Pennsylvania. Not another state in the nation has done that. To me, it gives me a lot of hope, right? They are planting the roots of progress. It is investing in the marketplace and recognizing that as consumers we have a desire for a lot of things, right? Good food, of course, but we also expect sustainability and safety. And we see that in our traditional work and our organic, in all of the other avenues of growth. We've invested in PA Preferred, in the Homegrown by Heroes program, which recognizes the contribution of veterans in Pennsylvania to our food system. We have administered a record number of food assistance programs. Why? Because the need was there, both during the pandemic and what we see today. And supporting the young and beginning farmers. It is all about progress and being rooted in progress. We lead the nation in the number of young farmers under the age of 35 in the nation. I mean, think about it, right? Again, it is a point of pride, but also allows us to be rooted in the progress that we've made. I could go on, but the point is that we stand today on this farm that has transitioned generations, demonstrates the very best of agriculture, and allows us to join and celebrate both the season, but also prepare for the farm show as we present, rooted in progress. We've done that in a number of ways. I've noted some, but just to say that as we partner with farmers on their conservation work, that allows them to both respond to the changing seasons, changing crops. It allows them to strengthen their farm operation, to be more productive in so many ways. That is rooted in progress. We can offer technical assistance to multi-generational farms to do business planning and to look at the work that they're doing to be and remain competitive. That is rooted in progress. When we're able to do a grant to an urban ag program in the deepest parts of our cities, that all share a pride in food and food production and feeding that community, that is rooted in progress. When we support the farm to school, there's not a better demonstration than today with school buses around us and the voices of young children. But when we can invest in those schools and the farms and bring them together, we bring together the farmer and the consumer, that's rooted in progress. And when we can support the research that strengthens the crops and the varieties and the produce and the yields to feed more people, that's rooted in progress. So we're proud today to stand here and announce this theme that sets in motion the annual Pennsylvania Farm Show. But we as agriculture are have deep roots in stewardship. We have deep roots in tradition, and that tradition is progress. In agriculture, we live and breathe progress, and we're excited to showcase this year's Pennsylvania Farm Show and our theme, Rooted in Progress. So who brings that to life? That's Sharon. That's the Farm Show team who takes the vision, takes the work, and brings that together. So I'm very proud of the work that Sharon has done in leading the Farm Show complex with a great team. And we speak of Farm Show. There are a lot of other things that happen in that Farm Show complex that also get managed, right, between the annual Farm Shows. So always pleased to be with Sharon and hear her and her vision for the Farm Show. Sharon, welcome.
Good morning. First of all, thank you, Secretary, for that great introduction, and team being the key word when it comes to Farm Show. Rarely do you see Sharon without Heidi. It's the Heidi and Sharon team, and we together collectively lead a great team of laborers and maintenance staff and security, and we're very proud to do it. So, welcome to the 2023 Pennsylvania Farm Show. We are extremely excited. I can tell you that, to Secretary's earlier point, planning started before the last Farm Show ended. Lots of feedback on where we can improve, what we could change, visiting fairs, looking to see what the fairs are doing and how can we implement some of those great imaginations into our show. So the Farm Show team has been painting and planning and measuring and building, and we have no doubt that they're not going to disappoint this year with what you're going to see when you get there. The team they just do a fantastic job. So you will see a number of our historic exhibits returning, everything from the carousel to the thousands of animals to the cider, beer, and wine tasting, which is very popular. The conservation pod, which will be evolving again this year. And, it plays such an important role when speaking about Pennsylvania agriculture. So we're really excited to have that back again, as well as many other favorites. Favorite foods always on the menu. Looking forward to some new foods this year. Not yet going to tell you what they are, but really excited about some of them. Personally, I'm happy to see the pierogies coming back and the honey ice cream because they're two of my favorites. So looking forward to that. What do we have new for 2023? So some really exciting things. I think they're going to be real crowd pleasers. We have the mini horse extravaganza, which, horses are always popular, especially when they're minis. So happy to have them this year. We're going to do the Canine Meet the Breeds this year, working with Dog Law to get people aware of the various dog breeds that we have in Pennsylvania and what their purpose is. What breed is a good breed for you? Not all families should have all breeds. So really excited to have them on board this year. A new judge along program that we're doing. Many of the FFA and the 4-H and the junior committee youth can talk about being in the show ring and what to expect in the show ring. And so this year we thought, what are the judges, what are they looking for? People sit there and they watch these programs, but they don't quite know exactly what the judges, what they're looking for. So we're putting together a judge along program where you can learn about what the judges want to see, why an animal may be rated a certain way, or one may be awarded grand champion where another one is not. We expect that to be popular. The one I think is probably going to be the most popular, and I know some of the executive staff has already reached out to make sure that they get, first dibs at it. We have goat yoga this year and goat cuddling. Those two events will take place in the large arena, the upper concourse of the large arena, and I have no doubt they are going to be extremely popular. One other new thing this year, which we really need everyone's help to get the message out, is much like many other entertainment venues, destinations, attractions, we too at Farm Show are going cashless with our parking this year. The parking fee for Farm Show will remain at $15, but we need you to bring your Visa or MasterCard. For those of you who don't have a Visa or MasterCard, you can go to your local Rudders, Sheets, and pick up a Visa gift card. Trade it in for cash, get that gift card, and bring it to us for paid parking. We're really excited about the streamlined process that it's going to create and the hours that we won't spend counting cash and all of that. So again, looking forward to managing that process just a little bit differently. And then just last is just a word of thanks to the Secretary's point. The Friends of Farm Show Foundation has contributed over $1.3 million to the annual Farm Show so far. And the show would look very different without their support. Thank you to the members and sponsors of the Friends of Farm Show Foundation. If you're not already a member or a sponsor, give a call. We'd be happy to send them your way. And then again, to the youth that support Farm Show, the FFA, the 4-H, the Junior Committee, all their leaders. Without them, Farm Show doesn't exist. The hundreds of volunteers. Without them, again, Farm Show doesn't exist. So huge thanks to parents who raise children who know how to give back to the community because we are a result of that. We would not be who we are without those that are rooted in agriculture and rooted in doing what's right. So thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you all January 7th to the 14th at the 2023 Pennsylvania Farm Show. Now I'd like to introduce Michael Ciappelloni, Director of Pennsylvania Tourism.
Thank you, Sharon. And I'll just say that if goat yoga and a mini horse extravaganza isn't enough for you, then, there's a lot of other reasons to attend the farm show. I'm so thrilled to be here. Michael Ciappelloni, manage Pennsylvania tourism. So it's a big job, but one that I really, really enjoy. But it's also a big industry. Some $46 billion that tourism contributes to this economy. It supports close to 500,000 jobs and again contributes at billions more in tax dollars. It's an industry that supports our schools, it supports public safety, and it supports many other things, healthcare. And we don't often think about that. We just think about amazing places like Flinchbaugh and the face of tourism, but it really is an economic driver. But I will say that we can't do it alone, and it's because we do it with agriculture. Agritourism is exploding. It grows every year, and that's why I've been so thrilled the last couple of years to be a part of this announcement, because they go hand in hand. Everyone always talks about Pennsylvania's two largest industries. Well, they get closer and closer every year. Flinchbaugh is an amazing destination, and I say destination because while it is rooted in agriculture and is a farm, this is a full experience here. The entire family, ageless, and one that everyone should take an opportunity to explore. I want to thank the Secretary and Sharon and everyone at the Department of Agriculture. We have an amazing relationship working with them and have built a lot of great products, everything from our ice cream trails to our apple trail and all the things that we do to promote visiting Pennsylvania. Farm Show is important to our office as business. We have been exhibiting there for the past, I would say, 7 years, and we'll be there again this year. Look forward to meeting people, to introducing all of the products and the experiences that we have to offer in Pennsylvania. Last year we featured Best Buds, which is our garden tour, as well as highlighting all of the assets on our culinary trails, from apples, bread, pickled items, and charcuterie. So one of the amazing aspects, and it's really been highlighted by the speakers here today, is the evolution of the farm show. They work very hard, from the department and Sharon's team to innovate. And, Sharon just listed off a number of new things that are happening this coming year. And that's one of the things I think that's so exciting. While you have the traditional things that will be back every year, they are working very hard and we'll help however we can to help promote all the new things. And that is really an example of progress. They evolve, they think outside of the box, outside of the farm, and they look for new audiences, and that's why it's so important for tourism. So thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Come along. This is one of those special moments, right? We have a national officer candidate, and again, welcome to Dover FFA as well. But Jessica Herr is one of the best, former state officer, but also has raised her hand and said, yeah, I want to try for this national officer and represent FFA both in Pennsylvania and around the nation. So always nice to be with her. If you were at the opening ceremony of the 2022 Farm Show, you heard Jessica is one of our speakers there. So a very talented, very passionate person who demonstrates the very best of being rooted in progress. So Jessica, well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Secretary Redding, and thank you everyone for joining us here today as we celebrate the 2023 Pennsylvania Farm Show. Like mentioned, my name is Jessica Herr. I grew up in southern Lancaster County on my family's generational dairy, poultry, and crop farm. So as the 5th generation to the family farm, I'm no stranger to having roots in the agricultural industry, and it's one of my favorite parts of growing up in Lancaster is having that rich history, heritage, and legacy being a part of this agricultural community that I get to call home. My very first farm show memory was around the age of 5. My dad had a day off the farm, and my sisters and I piled in the van with our family, and we headed to the farm show for my very first time. There's an iconic picture that my mom took that day of the 3 of us girls cuddled up in the wheel well of a tractor at the farm show. And my farm show stories just happened to progress along the way there. As a freshman in high school at our midwinter FFA convention at the farm show, I got to wear my very own blue corduroy jacket for the first time. And as we fast forward a little bit more, in this last year, I got to be a member of the Pennsylvania Farm Show Junior Committee. I think my story, both in the agricultural industry and at the farm show, is a true testament of this year's theme, being rooted in progress. The agricultural industry here in Pennsylvania, my time in the FFA organization, and my time at the Pennsylvania Farm Show has developed me into the agricultural leader that I am today. What a gift it is that we get to call the agricultural industry home. One that not only values tradition, values our deep roots and heritage within the agricultural industry, but also one that is excited and expectant about what is still yet to come. It's an honor to be here with everyone today, celebrating agriculture and celebrating the Pennsylvania Farm Show. We're excited to be here, and we can't wait for those just about 100 days until we can truly come back together in Harrisburg to celebrate all that agricultural is and the progress that comes with the Pennsylvania Farm Show. At this time, I'd like to invite Secretary Redding back to the podium.
Jessica, thank you. So I don't know who the voting committee is for the National FFA officer team, but why don't we just sort of just vote today, call it a day, the very best of Pennsylvania agriculture, Pennsylvania FFA. So thank you, Jessica. Let me go back to the very beginning where we started with a note of thanks to Julie and the Flinchbaugh family, right, for hosting. But more importantly, just sort of being really good people rooted in this community, rooted in agriculture. As Michael noted, they just continue to change and adapt and do it with a smile, right? And to open the farms in this community up to folks who enjoy and value this land and value the traditions that are here, but also a chance just to come out and make that connection between those who feed us every day and those who like to be fed every day, right? And that's really what Farm Show is about. I also now see Bill Piper, our president of the Pennsylvania the Farm Show Foundation. Bill, we introduced you earlier, and to Debbie, welcome, and said thank you. I mean, for the work that the foundation has done and continues to do to allow us to host this farm show. A note of thanks to all, but I'll again just go back to the beginning, and roots, they ground us, they unite us, they bring us together, a reason to celebrate, and all of that is rooted in progress. So we look forward to the 2023 Farm Show to share with Pennsylvania for the 107th time, a chance to talk about that progress, and look forward to it. And we'll tell the story very proudly of Pennsylvania, the tradition, the generational changes, the economic impacts, but also the significant impact it has on the quality of life both here in York County and around our state and nation. So we look forward to that. Thank you for being here, and we'll entertain questions if you have.
Should we unveil?
Yeah, let's do the unveiling.
Sorry.
Right?
I saw her.
No. That's good. So, Julie, come on in. All in. Over here. All right. Have you seen this?
Oh, wow.
There it is. Great, thank you. Questions? It's always good to unveil the logo. Thank you. Questions, comments? Okay, if not, thank you for being here. We look forward to the 2023 Farm Show. We'll see you in Harrisburg, January 7th through the 14th. Full of fun, a great way to start the year. And thank you for being here today and part of agriculture. Thanks. Good. Thank you.